He said a girl like you should be grateful I even dated you. Now he's jobless and blocked. I was sitting in a restaurant with no prices on the menu, and the check was dropped right in front of me. He just stood up and left, right after saying, a girl like you should be grateful I even dated her. Out loud, in front of everyone. His friends laughed. I didn't. We were together for 2 years. Not 2 weeks, not some casual thing. 2 actual years. We had routines. Netflix nights, weekend coffees, awkward family dinners. I thought we were solid. Not perfect, but stable. He always had weird honesty moments, though, like, maybe try a different hairstyle or that shirt makes you look wide. I brushed it off. I thought that was just his way. Looking back, I was being naive. That night, he texted saying he wanted to have dinner with some coworkers and wanted me to come along. It was weird. He never brought me into his work world before. I thought, okay, maybe this means something. I went out, bought a new dress, spent more than I should have. Did my makeup, hair, everything. I showed up. He was already at the table with two of his guys. Leonard and Pablo, I think. I said hi, and the first thing he said was, "Oh, you wore that?" Not quietly, not joking. Just said it and turned back to his conversation. I sat down, tried to keep it together, but honestly, I already knew something was off. The whole dinner, they talked about work like I wasn't even there. Anytime I joined in, he'd talk over me or correct me. I told the story about how we met. He cut me off and said, "Yeah, Vanessa felt bad for her. I was doing her a favor." I stared at him, wondering if this was the same guy I'd been sleeping next to for 2 years. I got up and went to the bathroom just so I wouldn't cry at the table. Texted my best friend, took a breath, looked in the mirror, went back. They were laughing when I returned, but went silent as soon as I sat down. The food came. I'd ordered pasta, something not crazy expensive because I was already nervous about the bill. He made comments about it, said I was carb loading for a marathon, and that it was a bold choice for someone with your body type. Every comment felt like a small cut, and they just kept coming. I sat there pushing food around my plate, waiting for this nightmare to end. Then the check came. He picked it up, looked at it, then slid it to me. I thought he was just showing me the total. Instead, he said, "You know what? I don't think this is working. I'm just not attracted to you anymore. We should break up." In a restaurant, in front of his friends, after 2 years together. Who does that? He stood up, grabbed his jacket, and hit me with the final blow. A girl like you should be grateful I dated you this long. You're not exactly a prize. Then walked out laughing with his friends. Left me there, with a $328 bill. I paid. Barely. My credit card almost didn't go through. I made it to the car before the tears started. The next morning, 13 missed calls. From him. From his mom. From numbers I didn't recognize. I didn't know what happened yet, but something had gone wrong. And for once, it wasn't on my side. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept replaying everything in the restaurant, his voice, the way he stood up like I was nothing. And the next morning, 13 missed calls. Not from him, though, from his mom, his sister, and one number I didn't recognize. Then came a DM from someone I barely knew. "Hey, are you okay? I heard what happened. That was insane." I called Vanessa. She's the one who introduced me to Ryan in the first place. She didn't say, "I told you so," but she didn't have to. Her voice said everything. He's always been like this, honestly. Just didn't think he'd take it that far. Then she sent me screenshots. Apparently, right after dumping me, Ryan posted an Instagram story with the caption, "Boys' night out, level up." No mention of me. No trace I was even there. 2 years together and I was erased like a typo. Then came the kicker. She forwarded a message from someone named Cody. He works with Ryan. "Hey, Vanessa gave me your number. I think you deserve to know the truth. Ryan's been lying about a lot." Turns out Ryan isn't some team leader or project guy. He's an assistant. He books meetings, orders lunch, makes coffee. That's it. The big presentation he bragged about? He made the slides. His manager presented them. All those business trips? Fake. His LinkedIn profile? Full-on fiction. Even the pictures he posted from conferences. Pulled off the company's website. I just sat there, staring at my phone. I opened our old texts and started scrolling through everything. Things that didn't add up before now made perfect sense. Times he said he was working late but had no proof. Moments when I'd ask a basic question about his job and he'd deflect or give some vague answer. I was paying for half our dates by the end, sometimes all of them. He always had some excuse. His check was late, his card had issues, his bank flagged a transaction. I believed every word because I thought we were partners. That night, I couldn't sleep. I was done crying. I was just angry. Angry that I'd been made to feel like I wasn't enough by someone who couldn't even be honest about what he does for a living. And then, just before midnight, my phone buzzed again. It was Cody. "Hey, if you want to meet up, I can tell you everything. There's more you should know." I texted back, "Tomorrow. Tell me where." I met up with Cody the next day at a coffee shop near his office. He walked in holding a folder, and the second he sat down, he said, "Everything Vanessa told you, it's true. And there's more." Ryan had been lying to everyone, not just me, not just his friends. At work, he was already on thin ice. He'd been taking credit for other people's work, messing things up and trying to cover it with confidence and fake buzzwords. The guy was one mistake away from getting fired. All the big projects he talked about, he wasn't even on the core teams. The photos from work events, downloaded from Google, the promotion he bragged about at the restaurant, never happened. And while I was covering dinner bills and feeling like a burden, he was walking around telling coworkers I was clingy and obsessed with getting married. Which is hilarious because he had a whole Pinterest board titled Future Apartment Vibes. Yeah, him, not me. By the end of that coffee, I wasn't sad anymore. I wasn't heartbroken. I was done. He built a fake life around fake status, and I was just a prop in his story. So I figured, if he can put on a show, maybe it's time I give him a real one. See, the night before, his mom, Tina, had called me. She was checking in because Ryan told her we'd had a small argument. Small argument? He dumped me in public like it was a YouTube prank video. She mentioned his birthday dinner coming up, said the whole family would be there, said she was excited because Ryan told them we had big news to share. Big news. I almost laughed out loud. I could have ignored it, blocked him, moved on. But I kept thinking, why should I be the one who disappears while he keeps the fake image? So I made a plan. I'd show up, I'd dress nice, I'd smile, and I'd let the truth speak for itself. Cody agreed to help, said he'd swing by with some work documents during the dinner. Timing would be everything. I went home and started digging. Old texts, screenshots, messages where he lied about being at work when he wasn't. Photos he pretended were from conferences. I found the originals online. Even LinkedIn posts that didn't match the real job listings. I printed everything. Vanessa came over to help me pick an outfit. Part of me wanted to show up in something that screamed revenge. But we went with a classic black dress, the one Ryan once said made me look basic. Funny, I always got compliments in it. The morning of the dinner, he texted me again. "Looking forward to seeing you tonight. Wear something nice. My parents are excited." I didn't reply. Let him believe whatever he wanted. At 6:15, I pulled up outside his parents' house. Full driveway, big turnout. I sat in the car for a minute, hands shaking. Then I grabbed the folder, took a deep breath, and walked in. His dad greeted me with a big hug. Totally clueless. The second I stepped into the living room and Ryan saw me, I knew. He didn't expect me to actually show. That fake smile on his face? Yeah, it cracked the second I said loud enough for the whole room to hear. I wouldn't miss this night for anything, especially with such big news to share. He looked like he forgot how to breathe. Game on. I walked in like nothing was wrong. Greeted his mom, smiled at his grandma, sat down at the table like I hadn't been humiliated a week ago by the guy sitting across from me. He was smiling that tight, panicked smile people wear when they know the ground's about to give. His mom clapped her hands and said, "So, is this about what I think it is?" I just nodded and said, "We'll get to that." Let him sweat. Dinner started with pot roast and small talk. His dad asked about work. Ryan launched into some monologue about managing teams and executing vision. It was all nonsense. Corporate buzzwords that meant absolutely nothing. I didn't interrupt. I just kept eating my mashed potatoes. Then his dad asked about some Johnson account. Apparently, Ryan had bragged about closing a big deal. He fumbled through a vague answer. Something about strategy realignment and leveraging assets. His sister looked at me like, seriously? Then came the moment. His mom said, well, I don't want to pressure you two, but we're dying to hear this big announcement. Ryan looked like he was about to choke. He mumbled, maybe now's not the best time. His grandma, God bless her, cut in like, what? Are you moving in together? Ryan said you were looking at apartments. That was news to me. He tried to pivot again, mentioned his company giving him a business card for client dinners. And that's when I smiled, looked right at him, and said, speaking of dinners, remember the one last week? That amazing place where you met up with Leonard and Pablo? His fork paused mid-air. He nodded slowly. His eyes said, don't you dare. Before he could spin a lie, the doorbell rang. Right on time. His mom answered the door. Oh, Cody, what a surprise. Come in. Ryan froze. His dad waved him in. Join us for cake later. We're just finishing dinner. Cody came in, holding that folder. Calm, collected. I had saved the empty seat beside me for him. He sat down, looked at me, then Ryan. Then Ryan's dad, who asked, so how's everything going with that project you two are working on? Ryan says it's going great. Cody paused, looked at Ryan, who looked like he was about to slide under the table. Then he said, the presentation went well. But our boss delivered it. Ryan helped with the slides. The table went silent. You could hear forks hitting plates. Ryan jumped in with a fake laugh. Well, yeah, it was a team effort. But his sister wasn't having it. She asked, what's your actual title again, Ryan? Cody hesitated, looked at me. I nodded. He said, administrative assistant in the marketing department. Dead silence. His dad slowly put down his drink. His grandma made a low noise. His sister muttered, I knew it. Ryan tried to recover, said Cody was confused, that his role was complex, that titles don't mean everything. But the lies kept unraveling. Every question they asked, when did he get promoted, who's on his team, what about that corner office, led to more stammering. And then his mom, trying to break the tension, said, let's just have some cake and talk about good things. But his sister wasn't done. She turned to me and said, so what was that dinner you mentioned earlier? My turn. I told them everything. How he invited me to dinner with his coworkers. How he mocked my outfit, insulted me all night, talked over me, humiliated me, then dumped me right there at the table and walked out, left me with a $328 bill. Ryan tried to cut me off. His dad shut him down with just a look. Then Cody, quiet until now, pulled out his phone and showed texts from Pablo. Screenshots. Proof. Pablo saying how Ryan had put her in her place and thought it was hilarious. His mom walked back in with the cake just as the room hit boiling point. She asked, what did I miss? No one said a word. Then his dad said, we need to have a serious family conversation about honesty. And that's when Ryan snapped. He stood up, started yelling about betrayal, about how we were all jealous of him. He knocked over a glass, pointed at me, and said, again, a girl like you should be grateful I ever dated her. That's when his grandma snorted. His sister shook her head. His mom looked crushed. I stayed calm. I said, the only thing I'm grateful for is finally seeing who you are. He stormed out, slammed the door so hard one of his mom's wall plates fell and cracked. And just like that, it was over. Sort of. After Ryan stormed out, nobody really moved. His dad stared at his plate like he was trying to process who he'd actually raised. His sister just looked tired, like none of this surprised her. His grandma? She calmly picked up a piece of cake and said, well, it's still warm. And I swear to God, we all just ate the damn cake. I stayed behind after dinner to help clean up. His mom kept apologizing, not in a dramatic way, just quietly, like someone realizing their kid isn't who they thought. She asked me if there were signs. I told her, yeah, there were. I just didn't want to see them. When I got home, I had 3 missed calls from Vanessa, a couple from Cody, and several from unknown numbers. I ignored them at first. I was drained. But then I listened to one voicemail from his mom. Please call me as soon as you can. It's about Ryan. It's serious. I called her back. Apparently, after storming out, Ryan got drunk and showed up at his ex's apartment at 2 a.m. The ex I didn't even know existed. He started yelling in the hallway, saying I ruined his life, that everyone turned on him. The ex called his sister. His sister came to get him. But it didn't end there. He also started texting everyone, Cody, Vanessa, even to Pablo, with threats. Told Cody he'd ruin his career. Told Vanessa she was always jealous. Told Pablo I manipulated him and made up the whole story. He also posted a Facebook status that read, "Surrounded by snakes. Everyone will regret crossing me." Oh, and in a private message to Pablo, he sent my address. That's when his mom panicked. That's why she kept calling. I was sitting on my couch in sweats, hair a mess, trying to process all of this when the doorbell rang. It was Tina and Kayla, his mom and sister. They brought coffee and pastries and just showed up. We sat in my kitchen, same wobbly-legged table, same busted chair, and talked about Ryan like you talk about a stranger who used to be family. His sister told me he'd been lying like this for years, young since college. Fake stories, fake status, fake girlfriends. He once told people he was recruited to play baseball. He got cut the first week. He once told a girl he had an internship at NASA. He was working at Target. While we were sitting there, Cody showed up too. He said Ryan had been blowing up his phone all morning, and that Ryan mentioned he was coming to see me in person. And like clockwork, pounding on the door, then yelling, his voice outside my apartment. "I know you're in there." Cody stood up, ready to handle it, but I was already calling building security. Ryan kept yelling, then started kicking the door. My neighbor opened her door, peeked out. I heard someone else shout, "Call the cops." Security showed up fast. They told him to leave or they'd call the police. He left, but not before shouting, "She's a liar, a user, a fake." Funny coming from him. His mom looked wrecked, said they'd handle it. I just nodded and locked the door. After that, we sat in silence. Cody finally broke it with, "You got any wine?" We split a bottle I'd been saving. Didn't say much, just sat there. Sometimes that's enough. The next few weeks were weird. Ryan got fired after skipping work and sending angry emails to coworkers. He moved back in with his parents. Temporarily, according to Tina. His social media went quiet. No gym selfies, no grind mode captions. He tried contacting me a few more times. Voicemails, burner accounts, one handwritten letter that looked like it belonged in a crime doc. I saved it all, but I never answered. The last time I saw him was at Target. I was in the home section, looking at shower curtains. He was holding a pack of socks. We locked eyes. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. He turned around and walked out, left his basket right there in the aisle. Didn't say a word. That was 3 months ago. Yeah, according to his sister, he moved in with some uncle out of state. His parents finally told him to get therapy or cut ties. I think they hit their limit. As for me, I'm good. I rearranged my apartment, got rid of the stuff that reminded me of him. Started saying no more, not apologizing for it. Cody and I still talk. We're not dating, not yet anyway. Vanessa keeps pushing it, but it's nice having someone who witnessed the mess and didn't run. I'm not bitter anymore. Not because I healed or found peace or whatever. I'm just done. And if there's one thing I know now, a guy who says, "You should be grateful I dated you," isn't someone you ever needed to impress in the first place.